Wonderful. Yeah, okay, so with that being said, women, if a woman says, okay, I have learned now that my husband's need is to be honored, to be respected, to be esteemed, and she's doing that, or she starts to do that, uh, and some things are going on that she maybe is not connecting to. She starts to think everything's going fine, and then maybe 6 months later, they're in a serious. There's a separation, and she asks herself, I didn't see this coming. What would you say are early warning signs for crisis, a marriage crisis? What is it that a woman can look at and say, you know what, this is time to start. Maybe I'm not doing everything right that I thought I was. So even before she makes the adjustment, what can a woman look at in a marriage, and even a man? So you both can chime in on this one. What are the signs that you might see in your marriage and say, wow, I thought everything was going fine, but this little indication might be telling me that something is up with this marriage?
Well, one of the things I think is, first of all, the communication. Secondly, I think selfishness has a lot to do with a relationship when things aren't going well. I'm reminded of Philippians chapter 2, I believe it's in verse 3, where it says, let nothing be done through selfish ambition or conceit, but in lowliness of mind let each esteem others better than himself. Let each of you look out not only for his own interests, but also for the interests of others. That other is my spouse, that other is my wife. So oftentimes when we see things begin to be created along those lines, selfishness usually is the core of the problem.
And sometimes we are blindsided. Sometimes there are things that happen in a marriage where even the two think they're going along fine, and there can come some great temptation that even the husband or the wife did not expect to be tempted in this area, or sometimes it's financial situations that come up that cause things to start going downhill. Sometimes it's another person outside. So when things like that happen, when we are blindsided, the first thing the Lord has instructed me to do is to come aside with Him. Just to pull off, get with the Lord, pray, fast and pray, get quiet. We don't have to jump on one another, but get aside with the Lord, get quiet so that He can give you some inside information. And I have learned to do that. And when things, even today, I wonder, did you know, Gogo, that Ronnie and I aren't perfect? And that we still have situations that arise in our marriage, even though we're marriage counselors.
Sure.
But I always look at my word level. So many times my word level is low.
What does that mean?
That means that I have not spent the time meditating in the Word like I should be doing.
Okay. In the Word of God, in the Bible.
In the Word of God, yes.
Okay.
And as I get back over there, there is always something the Lord will reveal to me that I am not doing, or that I have not seen, or that I have taken for granted. A lot of times He'll show me my attitude about something. And so that is what I would recommend to people when something arises that you were not expecting.
I like what you say, Jackie, when you say that oftentimes one individual will try to give the other individual what he or she thinks he or she needs.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, I don't always need what you think I need, nor do you always need what I think you need. Mm-hmm. And when we talk about distractions, we have to know and we have to understand, at least this is the way I did it. I have to be able to understand, first of all, who my enemy is. And I know that when a situation comes up where there's robbing and there's stealing and there's a killing, whether it's of the individual or the relationship, then I know exactly where it's coming from. I have to be able to recognize the wiles of the devil. And so we've learned to recognize that, there's something wrong here, and we've learned to come together like we do most mornings and pray together. I understand that if I'm not in the relationship, like a godly relationship, then my prayers can be hindered. And see, living this will strive for one, will cause our relationship to be hindered. But this living God's way is is contagious. And when you begin to live the good life, the high life, the God kind of life, well then it's catching. And people see that whether you oftentimes realize it or not.
And any little thing, you can almost feel it. When you can almost feel when something is off. And you are quick. You want to quickly get back on track. And that means coming together. First of all, I apologize. Please forgive me. What can I do to make this right? And we get things right with God and with one another. Mm-hmm. And we get things right with God. And then He knows how to heal the relationship.
And we do not allow pride to enter the picture.
Mm. Okay, so I mean, Jackie, you said you can almost feel it when something's wrong. Now, being able to feel it, is that because you're so practiced at looking over time, or is that because there are specific types of reactions from your partner that are different from the way they usually act? I'm trying to get because, for instance, go ahead.
With us, mm-hmm. We are so one that it is a spiritual thing. You sense it in the spirit. Okay. With other people who are not as connected as Ronnie and I might be, it might be a change in pattern. Mm-hmm. It might be something that is not the norm that gives you, it's kind of a red flag. And just to give you an example, I remember when Ronnie was being unfaithful to me. Mm-hmm. And there were just different things that changed in our lovemaking that I noticed. And so that made a difference. That was a red flag for me.
And I think that's very details like that are really important for people to know, because we have listeners who are going to be listening to this call who are at various levels of experience, maybe even with their marriage partners, and so it's important. You're saying, if I'm getting you right, that if you see unexplained changes in patterns, and especially you're seeing them in multiple areas or in really important areas, that's you might want to be vigilant at that point.
Yes, you might want to start asking some questions.
Okay.
Well, what I like about that, intercourse is, intercourse is more than a sexual encounter, a physical encounter. Intercourse can be me giving Jackie my ideas, my business ideas, my thoughts, my visions, my purpose, and sharing those things with her, and not shutting her out of my life, but allowing her to know some things. And what she does with that, she takes it and she reproduces it.